Hi guys, good morning, good day, and how are you? I hope that you are doing well. So I just want to say sorry for the very late uh, recording for the last topic of our ABE 106 class. So today guys, I will be discussing with you the last topic, but not the least topic, which is in fact the very important, which is the quality evaluation of AB products or agricultural and biological materials. So this is very important, especially that you will be taking food process engineering as a prerequisite course. You must learn what are the strategies or not strategies, methods in evaluating or assessing, monitoring the quality of various agricultural and food materials. So today, bear with me as I will be discussing with you the different quality evaluation methods, both destructive and non-destructive methods. Okay, so So this is not the least topic, but in fact, the most important topic that we should discuss in ABE 106. Why? Because after learning all of the properties we have learned from the physical, thermal, color, dielectric, optical, mechanical, textural, rheological, those properties are the properties that we should evaluate during post-harvest, and even processing of AB materials. Okay, so after learning all the properties, you are now ready to evaluate those properties, and then somehow you can analyze, and then you can generate, or you can give understanding or analysis to what happened to those properties when subjected to different and post-harvest and even processing of stages, no? So in general, why we really need to investigate, or why we really need to determine the quality characteristics of various AB products, okay? So we really need to test them, because mostly, no, even as consumers, that's the main considerations that we usually encounter, no, kanang magpalit ka sa market, kung sa manday mong tanawon the quality of the produce, no. That's why there are competition nga nahitabo. Okay, I would rather buy freshly harvest without even touch of chemicals than buying very nice look or appearance na naa sa mga malls or any supermarkets nga ni-undergo na siya mga non-organic na mga chemicals, but somehow it's more expensive than those in the wet market, di ba nga na ta? So that's the implication. So to investigate and control quality, one must be able to measure quality-related attributes, no? So we will relate this to the person or to humans. Dili man ka makaingon nga maayo siya nga tao unless wala nimo siya na justify, wala kay data, wala nimo siya na observe, wala nimo siya na nasukod, wala nimo siya na say tawag ani kanang namatikdan, no? In foods or even in AB products, the same story. So you cannot tell that this product is of good quality, following or conforming with the standards, unless you have not measured. So what we will measure, it's the quality attributes. So what are those quality attributes or parameters? The properties that we have discussed in the entire semester. So those are the properties na imong i-discuss. So let me just emphasize that attributes, parameters, or characteristics are just similar terms. Okay. So quality of produce encompasses the following. Okay. Take note: sensory, nutrients, chemical compositions, mechanical properties, functional values, defects, and injuries. No? So di ba mao ni ang atong ginatan-aw usually, check the label, no? Kung it's a processed food, tan-aw nimo how much is the nutrient value, how much is the carbohydrates, how much is the protein value or the essential oil value, no? So what will happen with this, no? What's the expiry date, no? So it relates with all of the properties. So sensory, maybe it's tasty, the taste is sweet, sour, based on the flavor, di ba yung ana? But why these properties are already available in the packaging? Because it already underwent several quality evaluation and characterization. Okay, so those are the quality attributes nga usually gina-look up, no, or gina-check nato sa atong mga kanang mga products nga ginapalit or gina-produce. Okay, definitions of quality, no? So siya, this one is a good quality. How good quality is a good quality? When can we say that it's a good quality, it's a better quality, it's the best quality? So maayo ra makaitag ka ng mga quality. As a person, we are really particular with quality, no? Quality characteristics. Quality, ang quality ana niya nga pagkatao is kani. Ang attributes ana niya is kani, mo nang buutan siya. Same with the foods, no? Same with the AB products. Okay. According to the Abbott et al. In 1998, if I'm not mistaken, the term quality is defined as the degree of excellence of a product or its suitability for a particular use. Okay? When we say degree of excellence, degree, no? Kung degree, gisukod, no? Level, gisukod na measurement. And then when we say suitability, there must be purpose of that particular pagsukod, no? You cannot say that it has a good quality unless it has not purpose, no? Wala siya purpose. Mao na bitaw moingon ta, mag-unsa man ang atong kamaayo kung wala pud tay saktong pamatasan. Di ba ingana pod same with the products. Bisan pag unsa na tamis unsa siya ka taas og protein, kung taas og level sa kani, if dili wala siya purpose, wala po'y consumer, wala po'y mo palit, no? That's why there is what we call quality evaluation. Okay. Other definitions said that it is a human construct comprising many properties of characteristics. Human construct. Why quality evaluation becomes a basis from human? Because lagi na ang tao man yun ang nag-standardized, no? Okay? So ang tao ang nag-standardized, scientist ang nag-standardized, but to make it clear, to make it more kanang just, to make it more kanang referenced, so gibuhatan siya og level or standard, no, para mahimo siyang good, bad, better, triple A, double A, or single A quality. Okay? A product orientation or a consumer orientation. So magdepende pod mo nang gingon nga kung sa ako tamis, sa imo dili, sa ako aslom, sa imo parat. No? So that's why there is standardization, there is quality nga standardization. Kay maglahi-lahi ra bagid ang tao, but for quality, no? For quality, so if we relate again to humans, so it's in the eye of the beholder. No, pag tanaw nimo maayo, you cannot tell unless you have not measured, you have not observed, no, you have not immersed on that particular attributes. Okay, the comprehensive assessment of different external and internal attributes that are recognized by human perceptions. Okay, internal and external, no, so unless that you have not measured, you have not gathered the data, you have not collected everything from that particular material, do not say it's of good quality or not. No? Remember mo sa atong discussions sa rheological properties or textural properties, when you pinch the mango, when you pinch the apple, you cannot tell that this mango is of good quality unless you have measured its textural properties. No, you cannot tell. Okay, the component attributes of quality vary with context. Depende yun, no? So if 10 of you from my class, pangutan-on ta mo, out of 1 to 10 scoring, and then there's one sample of apple, how good is this from the rate 1 to 10? 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. To tell you, you will not give me the same answer. Okay, if there are some nga mohatag og similar, but not all. Because it's a human perceptions how we say if it's a good quality or a bad quality. That's why there is standardization. Okay, The choice of what to measure, how to measure it, and what values are acceptable are determined by the person or institution requiring the measurement, with consideration of the intended use of the product and of the measurement, available technology, economics, and often tradition. No? Ingani lang nako pagsukod kay na ako'y reference nga giingani niya. Ingani nako pagsukod kay ingani man gid ang iyang realidad. Okay? Ingani nako pag-measure, ingani ang akong data nga kuhaon, ingani nga values or range ang akong gamiton kay ingana pud akong nabasahan. Okay? So it depends always on the human perception. But with the advancement of technologies, okay, and then with consideration of kanang traditional na siya ba nga, this is the traditional way of how to measure moisture content. Why will you deviate? No? Why will you not conform with the standard? Okay, so there are a lot of things to consider. However, when to measure it, how to measure it, where to measure it, it depends on the scientist or the person or the researcher doing that. No? So that's why kanang mga quality assurance officer kana bitang magtrabaho ka sa kanang mga private nga companies, gisaligan ka because you are trained, graduate kag ABE, na kay background sa properties of baby materials and food processing, gisaligan ka nga aware ka, kabalo ka, where to measure it, when to measure it, how to measure it. Just make sure that you follow the standard, you follow the traditional or the conventional way, and even those nga mga advanced nga mga technology nga techniques. Okay. Why we really need to test? Aside sa akong na-mention ganina, that we really need to test because we cannot define quality unless we have not measured. But these three major reasons will give us knowledge or will give us clear understanding on why we really need to test foods or AB products. First, to know the consumer's preference. No? Second, effect of modifications in processing and storage. Third, to detect the presence of defects and disorders. I will explain to you one. If you will not measure and you will not define the quality of a particular product, how will you tell the consumers with regards to its quality? Di ba? Kabantay mo kung ikaw mismo palit ka sa market, walay label. Moingon ba ka nga okay ni siya o dili? Dili. Mupili ka gatong na label. Okay? Packaging is another story because packaging is just a value adding or whatever to make it more, to prolong its quality or shelf life. But we are talking here the quality values. When it will be okay and not okay, when it will be deteriorated or not, when's the expiry date, what's the protein content, etc. Okay, that's the reason. Second reason, effect of modifications in processing and storage. Okay, later I will give you an example of one commodity, agricultural commodity, what happened after storage, after how many hours or days of storage. That's also the reason why we need to test. If we will not test, monitor from day 0, day 7, day 14, 21, and so on, we cannot tell what happened. Bisan pag physically makita nimo nga nadaot na siya, yes, nadaot sa pananaw. How about the values in terms of its physicochemical, in terms of its textural and thermal? So diha mo sulod si quality and safety. Third reason is to detect the presence of defects and disorders. Yes, always, no? Kay bisan pag ang apple or oranges, di ba? Mostly imported. Bisan pag 3 months na naa diha sa palengke with improper pag ang iyang storage facilities. Pagtanaw nimo mao ra gid gihapon, nindot gihapon. No, nindot sa pananaw. Internally, wa ka kabalo unsay nahitabo unless again you test the foods or the samples. That's the three major reasons why we really need to test. Okay? I-test ang estudyante para mahibalan nimo ang ilang quality, nakasabot o wala. No? Maka-compute ba sila o dili? That's the same story. Okay? So, mao na nga dili ta mo reklamo nga nung taga ipatest, nganong ipaingani kung thesis ka. Yes, because that's part of the scientific basis, no? Nga dili gid pwede mo i-declare ka nga okay na pasar pa na sa standard without even giving us minute or basic values of its quality. Okay, aside from that, as a human being, as consumers, we really demand for high quality of foods, no? So, moreklamo ra ba ka kung lami kayong pananaw pag tilaw din nimo kay lahi na ang iyang taste. dili sa standard niya nga taste or sa iyang normal nga taste. Okay? So quality evaluation is actually based on the senses of human beings. No, kay ang tao magid ang nagpasiugda ani, no? So ang tao, ang scientist sa unang mga panahon, tao ra man gihapon sila. So it follows the senses of the human being. So the sense of smell, sense of taste, no? Sense of sight, sense of hand feeling or hearing, no? Okay, pag pauntulon nimo ang watermelon unya mo tabugdok ang iyang boses, okay, hinog na ni. Okay, so mostly quality are the baseline of quality evaluation started from the senses of humans. Until now, di ba? Until now, i-pinch lang nimo ang mangga kung pag-ana nimo kay gahi-gahi pa, then hilaw-hilaw pa siya, na pa siya sa mga level 2 sa iyang ripeness. Nga na, still senses of human being. And then later, I will also discuss to you, based on these senses, based on these conventional methods, what happened in the recent advances or recent days. Unsa na may nangahitabo, okay? So I will continue that later with another story na pod. Kay karon, we are still talking on the basics of quality evaluation and what are those quality evaluation methods. Okay, unsa po dayon ang ipangsukod nato, no? Asa dayon ta mo judge based sa atong pananaw, based sa atong pagsimhot, based sa atong pag gunit, based sa atong pagkanang taste, tagtilaw. So the final judgment would say nga based sa appearance, no, sa iyang pananaw, ang size niya lingin, taas, oblong, whatever. Aroma unsa iya baho, no? Baho ba siya pagud, baho ba siya og kanang murag hilaw, baho ba siya, di ba? Nga na dayon ang judgment. Flavor unsay lami, tamis, no? So color, syempre, primary colors yellow, green, blue. Tan-aw na nimo, okay, more on yellow man ni, hinog na ni. No? Nga na rata. It follows, quality evaluation actually follows the basic principles of human senses. Okay. So quality evaluation also is usually linked, no, always linked to its internal and external quality. No, kanang yung tag internal ilalum, external gawas. No, when we say internal, those properties like color, size, shape, defects. Kung may tag internal, I mean internal. When we say internal, katong iyang, excuse me, texture, moisture, pH, sugars, no, kadto mga acidity value, protein content, chemical content, and so on. Kanang internal na niya ba? Moisture content. And then kung yung tag external, katong say size, shape, defects, no, color, etc. Maura gid na atong basihan. Wala na tay lain pang basihan pa, no? Unless if we will use advanced technologies that I will also discuss later. Unsa pud tong mga measure nila sa using advanced technologies. But basically, these are what we call conventional methods. Always remember that. Conventional methods or traditional methods on how we will quantify or test the quality of our food products. So, sa pamaagi, no, sa pamaagi, natay duha ka klase. We call that instrumental methods and sensory methods. So, kung maingon tag instrumental methods, from the term instrument, we are using instrument, equipment, or any materials other than the human senses, no? So magamit ka og colorimeter for color, magamit ka og spectrophotometer kung spectral na ang gamito nimo, mogamit ka og texture profile analyzer for texture, mogamit ka og moisture analyzer for moisture, and etc. No? Sensory methods are those methods assessed by humans. Kana bang I have discussed with you in the parts of textural properties nga naa kay napulo ka tao, imo silang i-hire, ipa-taste nimo from 1 to 10 how hard the sample is from 1 to 10. Unsa siya kagahi, unsa siya kahumok, soft, unsa siya katamis from 1 to 10. That's sensory based on the senses, no? So instrumental measurements are preferred over sensory quality evaluations for many research and commercial applications because instruments reduce variations among individuals, are more precise, can provide a common language among researchers, industry, and consumers. Okay. Siyempre, mas pilion gid nimo kung mogamit na lang kag colorimeter kaysa sa magmanumano ka gamit og katong chart para sa color nga ma-trace nimo nga okay, nabilong ni siya sa yellow green, nabilong ni siya sa yellow orange, or red or blue or whatever. We will always prefer instrument. No? Ato lang na siyang i-calibrate para dili mabias ang data pero mas maayo. Aside from the fact nga ang tao tapulan mas ganahan gyud og instrumental nga pamaagi. Disadvantage of tao is subjective, subjective. Yeah, subjective. Ang tao pwede nga kang si Juela mo ingon si Juela nga, yeah, ang akong pagsukod ani gyud 8 gid ang iyang level sa brightness. Ang imo kay kanong na 9 man ang imo, so maglalis pa ang tao. Kung instrument, once instrument says it all, wala na tayong mabuhat, no? So that's why it's more preferred. And then in terms of scientific community researches, mas maayo nga mogamit kag colorimeter kaysa magamit kag manual, kay mahatagan nimo reference ang uban pod mahimo nga reference ang nimo, no? Naay consensus ba? Samantala kung tao to tao, what if 25 years old and above ang nagtest atong ila, ang ato is less than 25. So it becomes confusing na hinuon nga dapat pareho kung 25 to 30 ang nag-test sa ato kung 25 and 30, kung babae. So there's a lot of things to consider if we are not using instrumental measurements. However, with the absence of instruments, wala tayong mabuhat, mag-sensory na lang ta. Just make sure that the sensory methods are done in a very specific and in a very kanang uniform nga pamaagi. Dili kay nag-test ka karon, no? Gipatilawan nimo ang imong product nga gi-develop sa napulo ka tao karon nga adlaw, nag-trial ka next day lahi na pud nga tao, so it becomes biased, no? So make sure that it's consistent, and it's also specific. Okay, so mauna siya ang disadvantage or the pros and cons of using instrumental measurements or sensory measurements. So the advantage of instrumental measurements is that accurate, of course, objective, and then auto record, no? Kana bang pag ana nimo kuan din kag values, no? Pag pinch nimo dito pag gamit ng katong TPA, pag tapot niya diretso sa needle dito as a sample, and then pagbalik na dayon kay data sa computer or sa iyang screen, no? So ang disadvantage, time consuming, expensive, highly technical, no? Ang problema, mao ra po ni problema, expensive, mahal man gyud, highly technical. So need pa nimo kuan ang mga tao, train. Kay kung di pud nimo sila ma-train, for example kamo, wala mo kagamit, di mo maka-try, di pud mo kabalo, no, sa ang paggamit. So that's the only disadvantage. Pag sa sensory, daghang gid kay factors, dapat uniform kana, if not, then again do the study, reconduct, no? So that's the disadvantage. So the limitations or drawbacks of traditional sensory testing pod, lahi pod ang ilang ang problema ani. Katong ganina is more on sa kuan man no, instrumental. So the measured characteristics are not the actual properties of the sample but only the results of the reactions. Of course, no? If you have group of 10 tasters, guys, nag-study ko guys, my study is all about quality, texture quality of my developed na kanang candy made from agricultural waste. Palihog ko og quantify ani guys, unsay level sa chewiness, unsay level sa cohesiveness, sa hardness at sa firmness. Palihog ko at the count of 10. Unya magdepende ra man na sa imong gana. Kanira ako 8 kay naulaw ko. Nagi akong gipatest ni Sir Philip. Kanira ako 9, kanira ako 6 kay murag dili na ko film nga mo test karon kay napugos ko. Mo na yang pasabot, maglahi-lahi ang imong data. The results may be highly variable, of course, because you are not on the same came from the same mother. Di man mo mga magsuon nga magpareho mo og kanang kagustuhan, do, di ba? In fact, even if you came from the same group, no, bisan pagkambal siguro mo, lahi mong taste. No, mo na moingon ta nga ay pagbuot kay lahi akong taste. So that's the disadvantage of sensory measurements. But you know, sensory measurements were before were the most reliable one. That's why natin mga food technologists, food scientists, sila gid ang gina-trained ana, no? Nakana bitawng blind, no? Dito ang isa, diri ang isa, wala istoryahay, makuha gid ang exact na kanang data collection. Tasters with sensory problems might cause biased results. Of course, for example, karon pandemic, siyempre kung nagka-COVID ang isa ka tao walay panlasa, niya mo imong gipa-test dito o zerohan gid niya ang rate sa imong firmness, ang imong level of sugar or level of SSC or whatever, no? Kung magsensory ka, walay panimhot, unsaon naman na ron. So it varies according to the people that you have kanang collected bitaw nga para mag-taste sa imong samples, no? So labi na karon nga panahon, ang sensory dili gid dapat gina-apply. And emotional burdens, basin di gikan pa to siya naghilak, no? Basin di gikan pa to siya nagkatawa, no? So syempre overwhelmed siya, so patakaan na lang niya og hatag og values ang imong data, no? Ang imong samples nga imong gipatest sa iya. So that's the reasons, those are the reasons why sensory becomes problems when it comes to sensory. So I hope that it's clear that instrument, everything has a pros and cons, no? So kung mag-instrumental ta, mao ni mga advantage, pero napoy disadvantage. Dapat i-train pa pud nimo ang tao. Kung magamit mo tag sensory, dapat well trained and proper nga mga tao, kay kung ingani ang disadvantage somehow lahi sila and all of these limitations and drawbacks. I hope that it's clear with you guys. Okay, nganong man sir, nganong after ana sir makuha na ang data, unsaon man dayon? What will happen? No, magsige man tag panguhaan ng mga moisture content diha, mga soluble and mga whatever diha. Okay? Those measured quality parameters or quality attributes are usually correlate ba to check the relationship. After how many hours of storage, what will happen to moisture? And then what's the relationship of moisture to soluble solids, to color, to texture, no, to acidity, to the protein value, and etc. Mo na gitawag nato relationship or correlation. I-correlate, no? So I hope that you have experienced correlation, basic correlation sa inyong engineering data analysis. Kana bang if you have one variable versus all the multiple variables, i-correlate nimo, what happened? No? Unsa na nahitabo? So there must be strong correlation, there must be weak correlation, and there must be just average correlation. So please research kung kanos ata makaingon nga the correlation value is strong, the correlation value is high, and the correlation value is medium, no, or just normal, no. When can we say that it has a negative correlation and it has a positive correlation? Kanos ata makaingon ana? So I hope that you will research that. Dagan kayo sa YouTube if you have not experienced in your engineering data analysis, because I already assume that you already learned correlation or multiple linear regression or correlation sa inyong engineering data analysis. Okay. Assuming this is an example of my study before done in sweet potatoes. So I have stored sweet potatoes. If you could see in the table, I have stored sweet potatoes in a temperature named T3 or under storage temperature nga naa sa balay or naa sa room lang, T3, because T1 was in the 5 degrees, T2 was in the 15 degrees, T3 was on the 30 degrees Celsius. So kaning T3 naa ni siya sa room gi-store nako. Pero tulo sila ka variety, no? Akong gi-store. I want to quantify the quality of my sweet potatoes when stored for 21 days. Gikan sa day 0, gikan sa day 7, 14, and then 21. Tan-aw nako kung say kalahian aning tulo ka varieties sa ilang color values, no? So what I am checking now is the quality attributes of the sweet potatoes in terms of color. Color pa lang. Okay. I have seen based on the data that the LAV values, makita nimo sa data that only the LAB values of variety 2 and variety 1 were sustained while the rest significantly changed as storage days increase. That's the purpose now of quality evaluation. Makita nimo nga na changes. What if wala na ako sila gi-monitor, gipasagdan na ako sila store? Then you cannot tell if what color values change or not. No? That's the reason why we are doing quality evaluation. Pero nga no, before tamo learn of quality evaluation, dapat nag-learn sa tag properties of AB materials. And that's what we did since the day 1 of our class up to the last lecture of our class. That's the implication. Just an example, guys. No, so that's for the color. And then makita po nato kay duha man nakaklase ang color. Flesh katong iyang unod kung sa internal o external niya nga color. Sa flesh color po daw ingon diri based on my study that the LAB values of all varieties significantly change after 7 days of storage beyond. Gikan sa 7 days hangtod 14 days and 21 days, ang flesh color when stored sa room, ang flesh color ni sweet potatoes, kung stored nimo siya sa room, na change significantly. Okay? As justified by the post hoc analysis. Makita nimo diha kanang mga asterisk diha o kanang mga A, B, C, diba? It's being justified based on the post hoc analysis nga naagyoy changes, significant changes sa samples. That's the reason why we really need to measure, why we need to test. Okay? That's the analysis now. But overall, sa T2 daw, ingon diri, all the peel and flesh color properties significantly change during storage. And then only the LP or the lightness of the peel value of the samples were insignificant. So walay changes sa lightness sa panit, no? When stored in the rest all of the temperatures. So that's the implication. That's the analysis that we need to do as AB engineers. In the future. You are assigned in a quality assurance, or if you are a researcher, at least you know what's the implications of the changes of the quality attributes, no? When subjected to storage, or subjected to drying, subjected to freezing. Okay, another example, another property akong gitest, which is the moisture content, no? So tulo ka temperature, no? Tulo ka temperature anya isa ra ka variety. Okay, makita ninyo sa data, you can see in the data nga nag-range daw di ay sa 67 to 77% moisture content ang akong mga samples, no? So that's the result again of quality evaluation. Observation, no? Analysis. Makita nato nga si variety 3 ang pinaka-highest na moisture content when stored for 21 days under different temperature or storage temperatures. And then after storage, makita nimo nga nag-change gyud, significantly changed, particularly ang samples gi-store nako sa T1, T2, no? So the increase in moisture content may be, no, may be attributed or hinungdan tungod kay na store siya sa refrigerated temperature. So that's the analysis now. Okay? So accordingly, based on my review also, akong gi-relate nga once mag-increase ang moisture content for sweet potatoes, it is attributed also of possibility nga na deterioration mahitabo. So it's not required for sweet potatoes to be stored in refrigerated temperature. Mas okay siya sa room temperature gyud para ma-prolong ang iyang shelf life. Mas magdugay ang iyang quality nga okay based on the study. What if wala na akong nagikuha og data? Then we cannot tell when the sweet potato is still good or not good quality or of bad quality. No? Dili man na pwede nga matamatahon ra nimo. That's the purpose of quality evaluation. Di pod ka kakandak og quality evaluation if you have not learned basic properties, physical, chemical, thermal, mechanical, and etc. Okay? So that's just an example of how. Another example again is soluble solid content, no? Ang soluble solids content, it's the extracted juice. And then out of that extracted juice, imo lang siyang kuhaan og kanang soluble solids. Ang soluble solids nagrepresent na siya, it's either fructose, glucose, or sucrose. Katong mga sugars sa fruits. Once masukod na nimo siya, dili pod ka makaingon nga pilay value sa sucrose, pilay value sa fructose, pilay value sa glucose. Dili nimo masukod. Basta kay masukod lang nimo nga there is a possibility of sugar value based on the soluble solids. Once ang imong soluble solids mag-vary, then you can then interpret maybe there's a changes also of the level of sugars in terms of sucrose, fructose, or glucose. Okay? As long as nasukod nimo si soluble solids and then there's a significant changes or not, then you can tell, okay, the quality of sugars changes. No? But you cannot tell now what kind of sugar, what type of sugar, sucrose, glucose, or fructose. It depends. Dili man tanan fruits na ay sucrose, dili man tanan vegetables na ay fructose, no? So dili ka makatel. But you can tell what happened to the soluble solids. And the soluble solids is directly related to sugars. Okay? So that's the implication now. Why we really need to quantify the quality attributes in terms of sugars or SAC, moisture content, color, and etc. Okay, so that's how will you discuss. And then what happened based on the data? No, it increases as the storage days increases, or there's a significant effect based on the treatment means A, B, C, and D. Okay, and then after that, you have that, we call that descriptive statistics, guys. No, kana bang magkuha kag mean, standard deviation, magkuha kag kanang standard error. So descriptive statistics na siya, no? After that, you need to correlate. Dili lang pud tama nga imo lang ibutang diha ang iyang average nga value or kanang mean, no? Nga after 7 days mao ni ang iyang mean value sa 10 ka samples or 30 ka samples. Okay? So, you will correlate. I-correlate pud nimo what happened when moisture content from day 0 to day 21 unsa puy nahitabo. Kung imo nang itandi ba ang tanang quality, mo na gitawag nato relationship checking or correlation analysis. Okay. That's the goal, no? So tanaw nimo based sa imong treatments, kung pila ka buok imong treatments, for example, nag-treatment ka og kanang variety, nag-treatment ka og storage days, naglahi-lahi imong variety, naglahi-lahi imong storage days, naglahi-lahi ang imong storage temperature, mo ni gitawag na tog multifactorial experiment, no? Imo day nang i-cross unsay nahitabo na by effect kung gi-store na ko siya sa pila ka adlaw, pila ka temperature ug pila ka variety, and then pila ka treatment akong gi-apply, na by changes, na by significant effect. Mo ni gitawag na tog analysis of variance, na by variation. When you check, makita nimo nga na ay significant or insignificant siya. Okay, so I hope that you have learned that basically in your engineering data analysis, because that's the very important aspect kung mag-thesis na mo guys, no? Kanang kuhaon nimo ang descriptive statistics sa imong data, and then nimo dayong i-ANOVA kung naabay significant kay bas hindi ay nagamit-gamit kag tulo ka temperature pero ang result di ay walay effect sa tulo ka temperature imong gigamit, useless imong study, no? Pwede pod nga duha ka variety imong gi-test, isa ka temperature ang i-store nimo or imong gi-dry ani nga drying temperature, wala may kalahian. So when can you check, when can you say nga naay kalahian o wala? After the analysis of variance. Okay? Now, after that, you have to correlate katong giingon. Okay, for example, katong mga moisture gaina, soluble solids, color, texture, and etc. Imo nang i-correlate, no? Kanang basic correlation good, pwede na siya. Tanawon nimo if, for example, makita ninyo sa table, di ba? Makakantay mo si moisture content versus moisture content, one gid na siya kay imo magi-correlate si quality ni U versus U. Dili na pwede. Makahatag lang kag data sa correlation kung one variable to the other variable. Manong gitawag na tog multivariables or multivariate, no? So kung makita ninyo sa data katong mga quality parameters, kung atong i-correlate, makita ninyo kung asa ang higher or lower correlations. Take note, okay? When can we say that it is a good correlation, weak correlation, or high correlation, or strong correlation? So you review, okay? And I hope that you already learned that in your engineering data analysis. Kung sa tama kaingon nga good correlation siya ba? Kung sa tama kaingon nga weak ang iyang correlation, kung sa tama kaingon nga strong ang iyang correlation. So makita po ninyo na sa graph, X and the Y axis, kung ang good correlation gaya niya, kung gani, mura gani siya nagpatunga, na siya good correlation, pero pababa gani siya, mura na siya flat ang iyang graph sa kadtong imong mga values, kung imo na siyang i-correlate, then it means bad correlation. Kung panaog ang imong graph, it means nga naa kay negative correlation. So ang negative correlation, there's no problem with negative correlation, no? Nagpasabot lang na nga, for example, si moisture, example kani makabantay ka, kung makabantay mo diri sa data, kaning fracturability versus hardness na asiyay positive 98. Okay? Okay. So makita nimo nga naay strong correlation, no? Kung negative correlation lang, ang implication ana is kung negative ang correlation ni adhesiveness kung width versus hardness, meaning kung nag-decrease si hardness, nag-increase si kanang adhesiveness. So wala sila nagkasabay, sumpaki sila, pero makita nimo nga naa good correlation, naay good nga relationship. Okay? Ingana ang iyang implication. So that's how we analyze or how we interpret our data based sa mga quality nato nga mga attributes. Okay? So ganina I have mentioned nga with the disadvantages of kana bitawng gitawag nato nga mga conventional nga methods kanang magamit ang mga instrument. So what are the problem, no? What are the problem? The problems are commonly is once mag-test na ta, buko na to si sample, gubo na to ang sample, and then ilabay. So unsay nahitabo? We have wasted the samples. No? Instead nga kaunon, gilabay naman nato kay gikuhaan naman nato data. Isa pa may ganahan mo kaon kung imo nang gikuhaan og juice para maka-measure kag SSC. So it becomes destructive in nature, no? Your testing is subjective. Your testing is destructive, laborious. Your testing requires complex analysis. here comes non-destructive nga mga methods kanang gitawag nato imaging and spectroscopic techniques, electronic nose, electronic tongues, kana bang magamit na lang kag mga computer visions, imo na lang murag laser na lang ang tanan ipaagi, pag flash read. Gamit ang reference, makita na dahil nimo nga mao ni ang possible nga value sa iyang moisture. That's what we call non-destructive quality evaluation with the aid of computers, no, advanced technologies, and etc. Okay, so these technologies actually, guys, are ginatawag nato sila nga mga technologies nga advanced and rapid, no? Kung maingon kag rapid kana bang mga mas paspas, mas dali, no? Mas easy ang pagkuha sa data based lang sa iyang spectral characteristics, no? Katong gi-lecture nako before sa optical properties. Pag scan sa kuan gamit ang camera, imong analyzeon ang image, makita na dahil nimo nga okay, i-correlate nimo based sa image versus sa reference ng mga parameters, makita nimo ang iyang correlation or prediction, makita nimo nga these are the possible values for the moisture, sugars, and etc. without touching the samples, without cracking the samples, without cutting the samples. So no samples thrown away. That's the advantage of non-destructive techniques. So there's a lot, no? I have already experienced doing this during my MS, and I have also observed my colleagues, my friends who are doing this. They're very advanced. The disadvantage only is, again, you need to, it requires technical knowledge, no? Kana bang dili basta-basta nga tao nga kanang walay knowledge sa computer, walay knowledge kung ano makagamit. That's the very basic disadvantage. Pero kung time will come, sooner or later gamito na siya sa mobile app and so on nga, i-scan na lang nimo kanang murag scanner na lang gud karon nga barcode, ug ana niya, and then somehow it will be appreciated by the farmers. Kaysa pagkakaron dili na siya ma-appreciate sa mga tao, kanang mga farmers, kay syempre they have no experience and even they have no knowledge with basic computer. How much more with this particular very complex, very complex or kanang ingana nga mga analysis. Sa ato kira kay kabalutan ta mo computer, kabalutan mo analyze, sa ila dili. So sooner or later it will be implemented in the offline and online grading and quality evaluation nga. Padaganon lang nimo ang fruits, capture og image, ang image automatic process, kuha og spectral characteristics and relate with moisture content, and then makita nga these are the possible values or estimated values of moisture and so on. So that's the essence of the non-destructive technology. So presently na natong mga computer vision, no, image characteristics kuhaon, spectral characteristics, and then i-correlate na atong mga hyperspectral imaging, no, laser, backscattering imaging, electronic nose, electronic tongues, no, mga unsa pa diha nga mga image characteristic image nga mga analysis nga gamiton. So already there's a lot of researches, and in fact nowadays these researchers are the most advanced, no, in the recent days. Kani ang ginagamit usually, so applied in apples with potatoes, mangoes, no, watermelons, and etc. So for example, the study of apples using computer vision has attracted much interest and can reflect the progress of computer. So imo lang i-scan, possible iyan ang ma-measure ang kanang size, shape, no, and then ma-estimate niya ang color based on the red, green, and blue image characteristics. And then somehow ang texture, kuhaan lang nimo reference. Isa lang ka sample, kuhaan nimo reference nga texture. And then i-correlate nimo dito, no? So independent and dependent variables. So dependent somehow your characteristics sa apple, and then the independent variable kadtong mga image niyang characteristics, and then imong i-correlate. Come up na din siya, predict na siya nga mao ni ang possible value sa texture sa apple. So that's how these technologies are being applied nowadays. So application in ham, no, mga pagkaon tanan-tanan, so based lang gid sa image, no, it showed strong correlations and predictions, no, calibration models nga makita nato nga pwede gid nato ma-measure ang quality ni ham, pila kayang possible moisture, pila kayang possible niya nga sugar content or protein or whatever based on the image characteristics as shown in the slides. Maybe you cannot appreciate now kani nga mga technologies because aside from you have not experienced personally, but because it's too complex to understand. But you know, if you will experience this, even if the basic one, you will really get enticed. You will really get kanang excited nga, ay, ako na pud mag-study pud ko ani, try na ko ani sa kakao, i-try na ko sa kuan. No? Just the only labi nag kanang you are good at kanang computer, you will really get kanang excited nga kanang mo try gid kag analysis nga mga yung ani siya. Anyway, it's just one click away, capture the image, analyze the image. The only critical part is the coding. I-code man nimo ang characteristics ni fruits based sa image, i-compare nimo sa characteristics niya based sa katong laboratory nimo nga pag-conduct conventional. Imo lang i-code nga pag-run niya mo kay come up paging ani. And then the coding depends on you. What are the things or what are the image characteristics nga imo ipang-consider na example, size baka sa image, no? Length, width, perimeter, maura good. And then pixel, pila ang count sa pixel or etc. And then correlate with the properties of image and then you can get the estimated data potential for non-destructive quality monitoring. So done in oranges, even in oil palm, done also in oil palm, and papayas, no, pears, no, sa pa, bananas, a lot of computer vision applications nga gina-applied na karon sa mga fruits and vegetables and foods, even processed foods nga nakaroon sa mga market. Scan na lang na siya, and then kuha spectral characteristics and then i-analyze. And then somehow makaget na taog estimated nga value. So that's the trend nowadays, no? Potatoes, okay, sweet potatoes, no, and so on. So what I'm trying to tell you in a very brief nga discussion is that there is really a strong trend nowadays that those conventional way of quality evaluation before karon gud nga ginabuhat nato kanang mag-thesis nga kuhaan nimo moisture pero lagi imo lagi putlon ang sample imong kuhaan og kanang subcut niya, no, mag-cut ka cube nimo and then imong i-dry sa oven and then what happened to the whole nga imong ikuan? Wala na, it becomes useless, ilabay na. But this non-destructive technology somehow will really replace the problems or the drawbacks, no, nga na-experience nato sa kanang conventional nga mga laboratory type sa testing. Okay? So I hope guys that you have learned basically in the quality evaluation, no, because I'm introducing already the advanced quality evaluations. Bahalag moingon mo nga advanced ra man kay ni kang Sir Philip because I want you to really to grasp the reality and the advanced technologies in the quality evaluation, not just the things that I have discussed. Okay? So that's all guys for this topic, and I hope that you have learned, especially in the analysis, the quality analysis, o saan siya pag-analyze pag nanakay data. So somehow yung ato ra ang iyang pamaagi. You just get the descriptive statistics and then you do the analysis of variance and then you do the correlation, prediction, and modeling and so on. So I just want to emphasize that when getting the analysis, make sure that the basic correlation of those parameters or attributes ng imong gi-measure dapat imong makuha, and then analyze what happened if it has a strong correlation or a weak correlation. Then you can say okay, so if ang moisture content di ay nag-increase pud ang soluble solids, pag correlate nimo kung naagid sila good correlation, maybe mas maayo gid nga imong kuhaan si moisture content o si soluble solids para makita nimo ang iyang quality. Okay, so that's all guys. Thank you, and I hope that you have learned from me again. This is the last lecture for 106. Okay, so I hope you good luck. I wish you good luck, all the best with your final exams. So all of my questions for the exams are all taken in my lectures from the textural, rheological, thermal, mechanical, and optical, and this one quality evaluation. So thank you. And all the best again with your exams, and I hope that you have learned a lot from 106. Thank you guys, and have a safe, keep safe everyone.